Because Mr. Trudeau does not really care about how he runs the country. He's spending taxpayer money.
We're so far in debt right now, my grandchildren, they won't be able to afford housing. Food's going to be harder to come by. The prices you see in the stores right now are crazy. And why? I understand when we had COVID, but these prices should have come back down. This country is just terrible now.
My problem is very simple. I don't have any problems with any of the immigrants. Everybody, my parents were immigrants. Like, if you think about the fact that when Canada became 100 back in the whole thing back from 1867 or 1776 for the U.S., we're all immigrants.
Immigrants are the future of Canada. If you look in this area, there's help wanted signs everywhere. We need the immigrants. Unfortunately, the Canadians, there's just not enough of us. Canada's a great country.
Thank you, sir, first of all. And what are your thoughts on Canada right now and 10, 15 years back?
Well, right now, Canada's not in great shape. Trudeau's buried our whole country. He's not doing enough for the soldiers. He's not doing enough for the immigrants, the homeless, the poor and stuff. But 15 years ago, a lot better place to be. We're a welcoming country right now. We're finding a lot of people divided. The public school system's in shambles. It's just not good now.
The world is changing and Canada is as well. I've got this problem. I still believe in people, not the country as such. So I care very much about how we treat each other, as opposed to, money seems to be the root of all evil these days.
It's not just house prices, it's everything in general. Okay? Everything in general. The way the country is being run by Mr. Justin Trudeau, it's just being run irresponsibly. Okay? That's my opinion.
Why do you think Trudeau, what decisions of Trudeau made this country in this situation right now?
Well, unfortunately, he's a liberal, and liberals love spending money, and they hope down the road whatever they're spending on will recoup and make the Canada better. But we're so far in debt right now, my grandchildren, they won't be able to afford housing. Food's going to be harder to come by. The prices you see in the stores right now are crazy. And why? I understand when we had COVID, but these prices should have come back down. Fuel's cheaper now than it was after COVID, but yet we're still paying double and triple the amount for our food. So people need food to survive, and he's not doing anything for the people.
So I assume you don't like him?
I do not. I used to be a liberal, and I was a liberal. I apologize to the rest of Canada for voting him in back when he originally came in, but this country is just terrible now.
Everything goes up. There's no surprise there. The pandemic did a large portion of that damage, and there's no easy fix for that. What I worry about is what's going to happen in the future, because everybody seems to want to ignore the pandemic. And if you go and talk to the scientists and the people that actually know what they're doing, we had the first one with SARS back in the early 2000s. We had the second one in 2020. There are a lot of very intelligent, very knowledgeable people who think that we're going to have another one, and it's not going to take 10 years to get here.
I don't think he wants to cooperate, period. I think he wants to run the country. It's irresponsibly, if I had to compare him to what Donald Trump was, that did the Americans, okay? Which is he's trying to, right now he's trying to get back as president of the United States. Justin Trudeau has already served 2 terms. He has not proven nothing after his second year and the first term. He's been irresponsible, okay?
So before Justin Trudeau was elected, or before he was running the
play? It was more run responsibly before Justin Trudeau came to power. That would have been Stephen Harper's time. I am not pro, I'm not pro any party, okay? If you're a good politician, you're a good politician. You're a bad politician, it's just that obvious.
What are your thoughts on the government?
The government has got its own issues. At 68, I've at some point or another in my life voted for every single party, because you used to vote for the people that were the best for the job in my riding, okay? These days you don't do that. You say, I like the Liberals or I like the Conservatives, and you vote that way, even if your local candidate's an asshole, if I can put it that way. And that to me is a worrisome thing. So if I take a look at the parties and I take a look at the Liberals and the Conservatives and the NDP, everybody's got their own thoughts, okay? Do I think Trudeau is a genius? Good God, no. Do I want to replace him with Polyev? Not a chance in heck. I don't trust any of them. I guess that's it, because the politicians have got their job is different than yours and mine. Their job is to get reelected. That's all they care about. It's not about, taking care of the family. Like, they take care of their families, I'm sure, but it's not about doing the right thing. It's about doing the right thing so that they get reelected next time. And that's not the same thing.
वीडियो कंटिन्यू करते हैं गाइस, बट उससे पहले एक चीज़ बताना चाहता हूँ. अगर आप लोगों को नहीं पता है तो मैंने कंसल्टेंसी सर्विस स्टार्ट करी है. सो मेरी सर्विस क्या, कहाँ आप लोगों को कौन से कंट्री में मिलेगी, क्या है, सारा कुछ एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ. अगर आप लोग इंडिया से कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, फिर जर्मनी, न्यूजीलैंड या फिर यूएसए, ये कंट्रीज़ में कहीं जाने के प्लानिंग में हो तो मेरी कंसल्टेंसी जो है वो आप लोगों को पूरी तरीके से गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड कर सकती है, फ्रॉम स्टार्ट टिल एंड पूरा. ठीक है, आप लोग को क्या करना है, डिस्क्रिप्शन में एक लिंक है, वो लिंक पे जैसे जाओगे पूरा वेबसाइट ओपन होता है. जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट वेबसाइट. आप वेबसाइट के लास्ट पेज पे जाओगे, वहाँ पे आपको फॉर्म पे प्रेस करना है एंड फॉर्म फिलअप कर देना है. खाली कुछ डिटेल्स आप लोग को प्रोवाइड करनी है. वो फिल करने के बाद आपको मेरी टीम 2 से 3-4 दिन के अंदर अंदर कॉन्टैक्ट करेगी. 1 वीक के अंदर अंदर बेसिकली आप लोग को कॉन्टैक्ट कर देगी. एंड जैसे वो आप लोग को कॉन्टैक्ट करती है, आप लोग को जो भी कंट्री में जाना है उससे रिलेटेड आप सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड कर सकते हो. कौन से यूनिवर्सिटी में जाना है, कौन से कॉलेज में जाना है, SOP, LOR, डॉक्यूमेंट्स कौन से ज़रूरत पड़ेंगे, फाइनेंशियली किस तरीके से आप लोग को क्या क्या चीज़ें चाहिए होगी, सारी चीज़ों का इन्फॉर्मेशन आप लोग को मेरी टीम प्रोवाइड करेगी. एंड आई एम 101% श्योर गाइज, दूसरे जो कंसल्टेंट्स इंडिया में है उससे ट्रस्टवर्दी बहुत ज़्यादा है ये लोग. कंसल्टेंसी में सबसे बड़ा एक प्रॉब्लम रहता है कि ट्रस्ट नहीं पड़ता है लोगों को. दैट इज़ वाई आई स्टार्टेड दिस सर्विस, कि मेरी जो टीम है आप लोग को ट्रस्ट पूरी तरीके से रख सकते हो आप उनके ऊपर, एंड वो आपका प्रोसेस स्मूथली जितना जल्दी से जल्दी हो सकता है वो कंप्लीट करके देंगे. ठीक है, ना आपको इसका टेंशन लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आप साइड में अपना काम कर सकते हो, ये सारा आपका कामकाज हैंडल कर लेंगे. सो इफ़ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड एंड इफ यू आर प्लानिंग टू गो टू एनी अदर कंट्री, डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक है, वहाँ पे जाए एंड आप मेरी टीम को कॉन्टैक्ट कर सकते हो. सो लाइक इफ़ आई गो टू 2010 and 2011, what was different in Canada at that time and what is different right now? What are the things which you want to highlight?
Interest rates, inflation. People could afford to buy houses, they could afford to buy food. Right now, with the cost of living, the inflation, the debt he has put us in, we're not going to get out of it. And unfortunately, if the Conservatives get in, they're going to be making cuts and stuff, and then people are going to be all pissed off because they're not getting the money that Trudeau is liberally handing out to everybody, and they're going to vote the Conservatives out and vote the Liberals back in. So it's a vicious circle, and it's to the point now where I don't even know if I want to vote anymore because it's a vicious circle.
What are your thoughts on too many immigrants coming to Canada in past few years?
It's got nothing to do with it. It's got to do with running the country responsibly from the people that are elected, okay? That's what it's got to do with.
So you don't think any immigrant coming from other countries?
No, it has no barrier, really, when you think about it. It has no barrier whatsoever. I'm from another country, okay? And way back in the 50s when I came to Canada, which was 1950, it was run responsibly back then, you know? It would have been Louis St. Laurent, okay, the Prime Minister of Canada. He was the leader of the Liberal Party at the time, and he got voted in. He ran it responsibly. Since that time frame, we're starting the Prime Minister after him, which would have been Diefenbaker, they've run it irresponsibly. I'll tell you why I say that, because he got rid of an industry that could have bamboozled. He got rid of Avro Aircraft, okay, company and everything like that, because they posed a threat, okay, to the Americans. He should have stood up for his rights and, just told the Americans, none of your business how we operate. He didn't have the courage to say that. So they lost, 60,000 plus jobs when that company went under. And that's what I mean by running irresponsibly. It doesn't make any difference whether it's Liberal, NDP, or Conservative, or any party after that. You either are responsible or you're not, okay? That's what the average complaint from the average Canadian's got to do with. You know, they demand performance, but they're not getting it. When you say demand, that's just a request, okay? When you vote him in. You don't get to vote for the Prime Minister directly. You vote for him indirectly through the various ridings, where you live, eh? So that's why it's run in response. It's lost the transitional way, how it should be run. To tell you the truth, this has been opinionated many times in Parliament. A lot of people want a direct vote to the Prime Minister of Canada, not through, like I say, another riding, okay? So that's why it's run irresponsibly, okay?
I don't believe the immigrants are the problem. I believe the way Trudeau did it, you can't bring tons and tons of people if there's no place to put them. We have to have the infrastructure set up. We have to have things put in place that the immigrants coming in, they should have free English languages, they should have free job assistance, they should have, free food for the first year, whatever they need to get by and get settled in this country. I've got a lot of friends that are immigrants right now, and they're finding it really hard. You're finding that the poor immigrants that come over, they're having to live, 10 or 15 people in a house that's got 3 bedrooms because nobody can afford the rents anymore. It's just crazy.
My problem is very simple. I don't have any problems with any of the immigrants. Everybody, my parents were immigrants. Like, if you think about the fact that when Canada became 100 back in the whole thing back from 1867 or 1776 for the U.S., we're all immigrants. And we just got lucky I was lucky where I was born, okay? If you're out of Syria and you can get the hell out of Syria, I'm with you. And that's the whole key. The only thing we've done wrong is that now we've got extra people. We don't have jobs for those smiling, happy people. And we have no place for them to live. And everybody says, well, we'll support them for a year. Well, given a lifespan of 80 or 90 years these days, supporting somebody for a year doesn't help. And I'm watching things like the minimum wage goes up, 75 cents or whatever it was. If you think that making, $21,000 a year instead of $20,500 is going to change anybody's life, you're dreaming. We really do need to get back to what it used to be. You worked, you got paid what you were worth, you get the idea. And while we've got a surplus of jobs, most of them are at the very low end of the scale. If you work at McDonald's, you can't afford to go and buy a house, even if there are 2 of you working at McDonald's. And that's really the problem, okay? We keep the people with money make more money. And that's the issue. It's not the immigrants that are causing that. And the one line I read that I like is having more low-income people come to the country in no way changes the lives of people that are a low income, okay? Because the only people that benefit from that are the folks at the upper end, because the more people they got working for minimum wage, the happier they are. And that makes more sense to me than blaming immigrants or whatever. I've met many of them, if I can put it that way. I supported a family for 2 years through the church when they came over at the time. And I've got good friends, okay, they're a Muslim and the rest. I don't really care what color you are or what your religion is. What kind of person are you? If you're a jerk, it comes across no matter what language you speak.
How can we change this country? Like, what can be changed so that after a few years, this country can be in a good shape?
It can be changed. It's going to get, I think, worse before it gets better, because anybody that's going to come into power now is going to have to be making cuts, and they're going to be reaming in people that were getting money before that aren't going to be getting it now. They're going to be all up in a rage. But immigrants are the future of Canada. For the amount of jobs, like if you look in this area, there's help wanted signs everywhere. We need the immigrants. Unfortunately, the Canadians, there's just not enough of us. Canada's a great country, but right now it's in the dumper.
What are your thoughts on taxes? Like, were taxes so high in Canada years back, or like it has drastically changed in past few years?
The taxes we used to pay went back out doing the things we needed. In Ontario, that would mean roads and schools and the like. We've watched taxes go up, but the buying power isn't there. Everybody says we don't want taxes, but in actual fact, the real problem is we're not getting value for our money. When I walk into a Walmart and I pay $10 for something that I can pay for 20 at Canadian Tire, I'm just picking the name arbitrarily, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is I want value for money, so I'm going to go to Walmart in this case. But the governments don't do it that way. So we get some truly idiotic decisions that are they're not getting value for my tax dollar. I don't mind paying taxes. I'm even quite happy if the taxes go up. if it benefits the people that need it. And it's not doing that. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.